Hi, and welcome to Schmooze with Suze. I'm Suze Montgomery, your host, and we've got a special show. You know, it's not often I get to interview people that I work with, that I get to see every single day, and sometimes really don't know everything that they do, but when I find out, I'm fascinated. So I'm really excited about finding out more about Kay Miller. Kay, you're the placement director here at VACE.
Yes, I am, for the past 15 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yes.
Which is Ventura Continuing in Adult Education. We're
Yes.
the adult ed group of Ventura Unified School District.
Yes.
Okay, so where'd you grow up? Where were you born? I don't know all this. I'm just curious anyway.
I was born in Northern California, but when I came to UC Santa Barbara for my college degree, I just stayed in Southern California because I love it down here.
Wow. So why did you choose UC Santa Barbara, the beach or?
Well, my older brothers went there. I visited them, and I just figured I would go there because it was such a beautiful campus, and so I got accepted and went
on
there.
yourself? You just came down here by yourself?
Well, sort of. Yeah, I mean, my brothers were down here, so I came to visit them. So it wasn't a huge adventure, but
Yeah,
enough of one.
it kind of is, leaving your, confines of where you grew up.
Yeah, it was a big change.
What'd you take, just out of curiosity?
I majored in math.
Math?
Yes.
So you've got a natural aptitude for math?
It's the only thing I can do.
I don't think so.
Well, at the time, it was the only thing I could do well. So I figured I needed to get a college degree to launch my career, whatever that would be. And so I majored in math and got my degree in math with the goal of becoming a teacher. I really saw myself in education.
Did you ever teach?
Not really, at least not in the public school system,
Okay.
but I've always taught. Every job I've had, I've always become the unofficial trainer and then the official trainer. I just love to pass along knowledge, and that just carried me through my career. So I got my degree, I got a job with the state fund, so I started my career in the workers' comp field and segued from an adjuster into the vocational rehabilitation counselor position. And that's how I became acquainted with this school, because I basically wrote the checks for injured workers to come to school to get retraining so they could re-enter the job market.
So how'd you wander over to VACE, though? I mean, progression?
Well, at the time, there were only 2 vocational schools in the area, and I wasn't really happy with them in terms of the results. And so the administrator of Ventura Adult Education, they were starting a career technical education program, and they came to me to ask if I would support their school by authorizing students to come here. And when they told me about the programs that they were launching, I was very, very interested, and that started the relationship with them. That was over 30 years ago.
But that was an unknown. That was just like taking a flyer. That was a gutsy move again.
Well, it wasn't so much gutsy as desperate, because like I said, the vocational schools that were in business at the time were for-profit, and so I felt they were more interested in the dollar rather than the value that they were giving. So when they came to me and said, we want to do something different within the public education forum, but we want to create a business model rather than another educational model, I was very intrigued. So they were very much focused on preparing students for the world of work, not preparing them just to capture information and take tests.
It's interesting because you were so future forward in that respect, because the last couple of years, 3 or 4 years, we've watched all these schools, these training schools. They're churning out people, but they're failing because they don't have any statistical results that are positive. People, they just fold. They more or less take their money, and that's the end of it, and they're almost all gone. There's hardly anything left.
Yes.
So you knew.
Well, I didn't know as much as Ron Halt and the people who started the program had. They were the true visionaries. I just knew that they had they had the right idea. And so I certainly wanted to support them. So over the next 15 years, I referred a lot of students over here. There were other vocational schools that I referred to as well, just depending on the programs that they needed. But I really enjoyed my relationship with this school, and of course they invited me to join their advisory council so I could give input in that. So I've been very well connected to this school since its inception.
But your sixth sense about how it would work, and by knowing, because you had the previous background, and you could almost see or track their success or not success in that case, but actually be able to evaluate what would work well. Well, it really says a lot.
I think it's more just experience, time on. The previous experience that I had working in the vocational rehab community and dealing with people with disabilities, back injuries, heart issues, any kind of limitation that would keep them from going back to what they were doing, really made me aware of how life turns on a dime, and that without the opportunity to gain valuable skills, these people would be on Social Security disability, they'd be on some kind of government support, and instead this school gave them the skills to give them back their dignity. And that was just awesome to see. And then by virtue of helping these students get jobs in the field, I was very much involved with the business community, because I would go into work sites and I would actually do detailed job analyses of positions. So I got the inside view of how business worked. And so the information that I gained from the business community and then from the school and getting that to match was incredibly valuable preparation for when I came here officially as the placement director. So now I can pass along that knowledge to our students when they're wondering, where am I going to get a job? Where would I fit in? And because I know the community and the industry and how things work and the businesses that are here, I can direct them to the right kind of area or the right kind of employer for them. I mean, I've been doing vocational counseling and placement in this county for 30 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it demonstrated and it also supports what we do at VACE, why you are such a valuable member of the team, because VACE actually, we train well, yes. But there's a lot of schools that train well too. But I think what makes us unique is what you just said, that we actually take the extra steps to actually make sure that people know how to go out and obtain a job. And you give them the skills to do that, which makes you so uniquely different. You literally have created this. I mean, maybe you don't think you have, but you have.
Well, okay, let's back up. Team is the most important word.
Correct.
You said that. Because the whole setup of this school is to prepare the student from unemployment back into the workforce.
Right.
And that workforce, though, looks very different from where they came from, because a lot of our students have worked in retail, fast food, construction, the oil fields, I mean, agriculture, hard physical labor perhaps, or things that aren't of a professional nature. We invite them into the school and we have certain expectations of them in terms of dress, behavior. It's a workplace. They come in, they sign in, they are accountable for their work. It's professional all the way, but the teachers are with these students 7-8 hours a day, giving them constant feedback in terms of what's appropriate, not only in terms of how to do Word or Excel or any of the various software programs, but also how to communicate, how to interact with their coworkers, their fellow students. So it's all part of that process that starts from the moment they come in for orientation with our office staff and getting their official badge. They have to have photo ID. Again, that's common in the workplace. So it's all that, all those details that go into grooming our students for stepping into a professional environment. So when they get a job, it's not totally different from what they've been experiencing for the past.
So they just make a seamless transition into.
Well, it's not necessarily seamless. It's about as seamless as it can get.
What's our statistics these days? I know they're high.
They're very high. Overall, we're at about 89% placement in the fields in which they're studying.
And that's probably about the highest in the state, aren't we? Aren't we like really up there?
I would say it's probably, I would
was
put our
digging around
placement
to find
stats.
out. Because I
guess,
have to
yeah.
talk to employers as well, and I started nosing around. Well, first of all, most of those schools are the fly-by-nights, and they're gone anyway because there's no support. Once they give us your money and you're out of here, that's it. They don't care if you go get a job or not. They're mostly interested in bottom line profit. But we, as you said, holistically, we're involved in the whole training and teaching and comportment. How do you conduct yourself in I sat in your class. Well, how do you conduct yourself in a interview? How do you write a resume? How do you talk to an employer? Which makes you so unique. This VACE is totally unique in that respect. It's a holistic approach, and I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this.
Well, again, it started with the vision of what we're about. We weren't about just education is I mean, I've got 2 degrees, so I'm really big on education, but it's more the practical applications to that education. And so from the get-go, we were looking at end result. Where are our students going to go to work? So when they started their programs, they were looking at what programs, what opportunities were in highest demand, and that's what they geared their programs for. So we're always looking at the result. We're always looking at that goal, but we've also always been accredited. And
that's unique.
That accreditation is completely reliant on our statistics, our completion rate and our placement rate. And we have been accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, but about 4 years ago we decided to go for a higher level of accreditation. I was not consulted on this, but it was the most rigorous accreditation I've been through, and I've been through 2 of them before this. It took us 2 years to get everything lined up to report to the visiting body, who really investigated us very, very carefully, to the point where they were looking at my documentation of placement, and they were making phone calls of our graduates to verify that what I had documented was accurate.
And you work with employers as well. So you go out, you meet with employers to find out what they are looking for in a job applicant.
Well, I don't have to go too far. The nice thing about our location is that employers and prospective students pass by us all the time. And so when they need somebody, they notice our signage, they may have had some interaction with us before, and they come in and talk to me or call me or email me. I'm also very active in the Western Ventura County Employer Advisory Council. I'm on their board. I'm their hospitality co-chair and treasurer, which positions me to meet and greet every employer who comes to those meetings, and there's usually between 50 and 100 employers, and they're all hiring managers, human resource professionals, staffing agencies, and small business owners. So those are the people that I'm meeting and greeting every month. And then I listen to the seminars on employment law, so I'm getting educated with that. And then there's always network opportunities, so that when employers have staffing needs, all they have to do is contact me, and I help them out.
Also, what makes us unique is a Pell Grant. And if you would explain what the Pell Grants and how they obtain one, and how literally you could almost get an education for free at VACE, which blows me away why more people don't know or aren't familiar with what we do, but once they find out and they come over here and actually take the first steps to walk in the door, they're blown away. And what?
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
It is. First of all, our fees are very low when you compare with any private institution, certainly with a college degree. We're certificate program, so short term, our mantra is gain a career in less than a year. So that reduces our fees substantially. The Pell Grant is part of federal financial aid, and that financial aid is totally dependent on our accreditation. So without the accreditation and the maintaining of completion rates and high placement rates, we wouldn't be eligible for federal financial aid. Pell Grants are monies available to students based on need that do not have to be repaid. So a student could come to VACE and get an education covered pretty much entirely by a Pell Grant. There might be maybe a few $100s outside of that that they may pay on their own or take a student loan. So students pretty much come through here and exit with very little or no student loan debt.
That's amazing, because nobody can do that.
It is totally amazing. And so the return on investment is very, very high, because I think our most expensive program is just under $10,000. Most of our programs are in the, I hate to quote dollar amounts, because please don't hold me to that. I'm doing broad strokes. But you look at, even if it's $10,000 and you step out of here and you step into an entry-level job, maybe $15 an hour, maybe 20, 25, 30, depending on the program and the student and all. That's an incredibly huge return on investment. I'd put that against any college degree where you may have $120,000 in student loan debt.
Well, I'm looking at national. And I'm looking at how the world has shifted also, as far as a 4-year college degree is not what it used to be. And I'm looking at now trades, and I'm looking at other vocational opportunities, in which we do here. I mean, we've got medical assisting and pharmacy, and we've got, let's see, what else do we have? Drafting, CAD, accounting programs. I mean, what we offer here are real high-paying jobs. I mean, this is what they're being trained for, and they really do get jobs, and that's the amazing thing, what we offer.
It's not only amazing, sometimes it's almost incredible, because you look at a lot of the stories of college students with $120,000 in student loan debt, and they have difficulty getting a job. Or that job may pay them maybe $40,000 a year. Well, how long is that going to take to pay your bills and pay off that loan? Our students, entry level pay, depending on the program, I've seen as low as $12, $13 an hour. And that usually goes to the younger student who has maybe 0 years of actual work experience. And then we have seasoned professionals who are stepping into jobs, maybe not what they were making before, but pretty close to it, or at least with a career path that offers them that opportunity. And it's really exciting to see those kinds of results and those kinds of turnarounds, because we'll have students coming in who are devastated with a job loss, either because of an injury or a company downsizing or moving out of the area, or their skills got kind of old and now they've got to start over in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s.
We have
and not only is it difficult to learn the older you get, but it's also difficult to overcome maybe some age discrimination or some concerns on the employment front with regards to that. Chris, quite personally, I've seen more discrimination against the younger folks than I have the more mature professionals. There's some interesting stories with that, but yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that employers are looking for people who have up-to-date skills, who want to learn, who have invested in themselves, and are willing to apply those skills to help them succeed in their business. And unfortunately, a lot of people kind of sit back and think, okay, I'm always going to do this for the rest of my life, and they're not engaged in lifelong learning. And that's what we really advocate, that even if you graduate from here, you're still going to be learning, and you know how to learn, and you are hungry for that knowledge, because it's going to end up in a higher paycheck.
So essentially, we're not just giving you an occupation or a career. We're giving you life skills that you can use with your job or in your life period to enhance your life and make it better, correct?
Yes.
That's unusual.
Well, it's unusual, especially when you see so many people who maybe start on a college track, and I'm not just reading college. I have 2 degrees, but I'm looking at people who don't learn that way. They learn by doing, not by sitting in classrooms. So our classrooms are designed for hands-on. You come in and you're put at a computer and you are applying those skills and producing work, whether it's a website, whether it's a graphics for a brochure, whether it's a design for a mechanical device or an architectural layout. People are doing what they're learning. The medical assistants are learning how to do injections. I stay away from the classroom on those days because I have a reasonable fear of needles. But they are good at what they do. So when they go into the job and they're doing injections on 5-year-olds so they can go to school, they are pros. They can do it. So it's a very practical learning experience, but that practical learning experience also gives them the confidence to know they can learn.
Correct. You know, right here, look around the room. I mean, we have TV and studio production here. That's one of the courses that we offer here. Our people, and that's a pretty open field, but our people, I'm trying to think of Isaac. I don't know if you ever interfaced with Isaac. Isaac went out, and my husband does part-time acting. He's community theater. He loves to do that stuff. And they needed somebody to run a soundboard. Well, Isaac went through the TV and studio production with Rich and Tim here and went up to the Ojai Theater and just kind of filled in. Now that's what he does. I mean, he was so well trained. And we have the best equipment. We have the newest, best equipment. I mean, I love working with these guys, and they really do produce phenomenal results. And these guys are getting jobs. I think that's it. Yeah. You're changing lives, Kay. I mean, you may not. I know you're just going to say, no, it's not me. But
well, the school does. You're saying you in terms of the school does that.
Correct. The collective the collective you. What we do at VACE is so unusual because it is living skills. It is lifelong learning. It's the opportunity to have a better quality of life. And, you know, that affects everything you do every single day, whether it's in your community or at home. I mean, it's a huge opportunity to live and to give back. And I think that's one of the big things that we also teach here is how we give back to our community. That's a very big thing here.
Well, when you employ somebody, think of the people you're impacting. You're impacting an entire family because those kids see how hard their parents are working and how they value education.
So they're modeling.
So they're modeling that kind of behavior and the importance of applying those skills in a real world situation. So now all of a sudden they're very proud of what they're accomplishing, and that pride, it overflows into the family.
Do you ever stop and think about what you do? I mean, I know you're the best of what we do, but it's what you do. Do you ever stop and personally think about the reflection of how you have done this and how what you've contributed by teaching them something other than just skills?
Well, I don't really have time to just sit and think
Maybe
about
you
that. Should. But that's what drives me. I mean, that's why I love coming here because I can be helpful to people who have been beat up by the world, who need that word of encouragement.
So you're a servant. You serve.
I serve. I support. I encourage. I'm a cheerleader. I think I speak the truth to people who need to hear it because that's what they'll need out in the workplace. So if a student isn't maybe following through or taking things seriously, I'll take them aside and I'll let them know. Yep, I'm old enough to be their mom.
but it's more, I think it's the mentality of VACE. And I think it's how it was created, with love and support and caring about the holistic person again, and about how much they are going to be successful. Because our numbers, when I first started coming over here, you know, I've been here, what, 13, 14, 15 years, whatever, like you, I was like, I've never seen anything quite like this. And the camaraderie of our team, of the people that teach here, our instructors, and the support. And I think that's what really makes us unusually different from anybody else, because we adopt the entire student. Everybody, we know our students. It's small enough for getting that individualized care, but big enough so that they can really feel like they're a part of something, maybe for the first time.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe.
It's very hard to describe, and that's why you have to, seeing is believing, and that's why we invite people to come and visit us.
Over here.
and visit us, get a tour of the school. We do something that no other school does, to my knowledge, and that is allow people to do a free one-week assessment in any of our program areas, where we treat them like a new student, and we start them off, and we see if there's a fit, if they can learn in that environment, if that's a good fit, if that's a good program for them. And we don't take their money at all until they have the opportunity to really check us out.
Thanks for working with me. I really, truly get you and understand your core values, which speaks volumes to me. I respect what you do and who you are. Thanks. Thanks for joining us, and wow, just don't sit there. Call up VACE. The number's on the screen, and come in and meet one of our celebrities. Come in and meet Kay and the rest of our team here if you would like to change your life and be successful in doing so. And we'll see you next week.